Hey there, you're watching Bare Knuckle Binder. Welcome to the channel. I have driven all the way from Texas to Alberta, Canada. I'm in the city of Lethbridge, and I'm on a little bit of a international harvester road trip right now. And I'm here in Lethbridge. I'm meeting up with some folks, and we're going to go through the Kirkham collection. There's a gentleman up here, George Kirkham in Lethbridge, who's I think probably the biggest international collector in Canada. I could be wrong, but I'm under that impression. So I'm really excited to see what we're gonna see today, and then we're doing a podcast with the Builder Sessions, and I've done one with them already, but I guess we're gonna do one together with George. George and I together. So after this, I'm headed up to Wainwright, Alberta, because really the anchor for this whole trip, the whole reason why I did this in the first place, is because I bought another 9-foot bed from a guy, a Canadian 9-foot bed, says international on the front, but I think it's going to fit the bill really good for the R170 Coleman that I picked up in like November of last year, November, October. And then I'm going to cut across Saskatchewan, come down into North Dakota, and pick up some tires for the tractors on my way to Wisconsin and drop all this stuff off and, see my family and all that. So anyway, I'm just waiting for Rosie from the Builders Sessions and the Kirkham guys, the Old International Truck guys. Another thing about George Kirkham, they've got this business, if you're not aware of it, they run a business called oldinternationaltrucks.com. Well, at least that's their website. The business is called Old International Trucks. And I know a lot of folks reach out to me on Instagram, on YouTube, trying to find parts for older international trucks. Makes sense since that's what I do, but I don't really sell parts, at least not at this point. I have a few here and there in my stash, but if you're looking for parts for older international trucks, especially in Canada, oldinternationaltrucks.com. They're on Instagram at Old International Trucks. I don't know. It's just it's a really good resource, and they've got a lot of stuff. I just got that C series, that 36C1, and in Austin. I don't know if the video I'm making about it has aired by the time this one airs, but if you follow me on Instagram, you already know about this truck. I was looking on their website, and they've got parts for that, parts that I didn't think they would have. So yeah, check it out, oldinternationaltrucks.com. They're on Instagram, Old International Trucks. I don't know if they're on YouTube, or I think they're on Facebook, but either way, I'll put it right here or in the video description. But I'm just waiting for these guys to show up, and we're going to go through and check out this collection of really cool old international trucks. I guess I'm just going to start walking the roads here. This looks familiar. Well, I'm in south central Canada, and I meant to take some video of this before. This is the whole reason I took this trip. Everything else was extra. So here it is. What do you know? Another 9-foot bed. Got that International in the front. This one's got the dually fenders, but somebody welded the seam, which I think is interesting. Here she is. I've had all kinds of trouble with these lights. I've had to super glue stuff and wire them up. Got a bunch of parts, got a dump bed apparatus, a seat. My new buddy Ian is the guy who sold this to me, and well, we got it loaded up right before it got dark, and I've been running all night with it across Canada. My Apple Maps ran me through apparently a mud bog. I had the van almost up to the axles, and then I went through a bunch of rain and cleaned most of it off. This thing was totally coated in rain. So I'm about to go through the border and look like a big greasy turd with this thing. So anyway, I just wanted to get some footage of this before we get any further down the road. Definitely stoked. Now this is my plan for this one is to go on to the R170 that's got the wrecker bed now. I don't need, like I said before, I don't need the wrecker bed because I don't have any fantasies about being a tow truck driver. But this thing was gonna look totally awesome on it, especially with the dump bed. And all right, I gotta hit the road and get across the border and pick up some more stuff in North Dakota. Well, I'm in Carrington, North Dakota. After about 3 days on the road, I forget where I am. I forgot what day it is earlier. Anyway, just stopped outside of McCluskey, North Dakota, and picked up this nice 12.438 Firestone Field and Road from a gentleman named Dylan. And that is going to go on the 51. This channel's about to get a lot more farm-all content because it's awesome. So anyway, God's Canadian. That's where we're at right now. I stuffed the spares inside it, strapped down. I've got some more stuff to grab in Minnesota and then on to Wisconsin. And then I get to actually sleep for a while. Oh man, it's a good looking tire. Firestone Field and Road. All right, let's get going. Well, let me tell you why I suck at YouTube, or at least maybe at telling a story. So here, we've got the 9-foot bed from Canada. Got the parts inside it there. This might be a good idea to look at this. This is the tilt bed mechanism. Some running boards, reservoir. I don't think the transmission. This is a Scout top for our friend Nicole in Texas. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but this seat frame also came from Canada in this load, and that will go into the R170 Coleman. So, that said, all right, so this is what I'm talking about. This is a Firestone tire from North Dakota. Looks real good, right? There's a cab for the R170, the carcass of the R170, and the Army truck back there. I'm going to get to those in a minute. Anyway, these tires, this tire right here, that was the one that was on the trailer when I stopped at the gas station in North Dakota. Now, both of these tires on the 41 here, I picked up in Minnesota, or Minnesota if you're from there. And I forgot completely to film these. It was a combination of me being tired and it raining. And so anyway, I picked up these tires. So I started a video a while back that I didn't finish. It just got kind of derailed with projects, but I'm gonna start doing some videos about the M's. This one's a 41. The block is actually a 51. It's kind of an assembled unit that I've had this tractor for years. It was in the haymow of the farm I worked at when I was a kid. I just sat in the haymow, and every once in a while they'd run it on the silo blower, and that was all it did. And it had this thing that was all blocked out. This is what it looks like now. I had to make this linkage. I used an old TA handle, but this is a Heisler 9-speed transmission, and this is super cool stuff, right? All the original linkage is gone. It would have mounted right here. The way that this thing was set up and locked out, it was locked into low range. And the way that it was set up and locked out, when I was a kid and bought this thing, I never knew that it had a 9-speed transmission in it. I never knew that it was, I guess they did such a good job. I was like, I guess that's not a lever. Anyway, it is, and it's 9-speed, and it's spectacular. Best upgrade ever. So then, once I realized that, I was at the local junkyard, and I found this thing, and I got it pretty cheap because the motor was stuck, and I had a bad tire, no longer. But it also, the reason it caught my eye is that it has a Heisler 9-speed as well, but it has the original linkage. So you can see where it connects right there. Original linkage, all this stuff. Anyway, I'll do some videos about the 9-speed in both of these because they're awesome. It's just the best upgrade for these things other than maybe live hydraulics. And by the way, both of these M's have M&W live hydraulics. And this one actually has Charlin power steering, which is really cool, even though it doesn't have the factory pump. It's got like a little aftermarket power steering pump under there that fits actually kind of better. You can steer this thing with your pinky finger going through a field if you wanted to. There's a lot of work I got to do on this one still. It's the 41 here is just an absolute beast. I think it might have an M&W kit or at least fire craters if you're familiar with farm all tractors. This one, I'm pretty sure it's the original motor or maybe a second overhaul, and it's really tired. I mean, it's really tired. We did a compression test on it the other day, and I think it averaged 60 PSI across all four, which is about half of what it should be, you know, at least be in the hundreds. But anyway, it's still a fun tractor, and, you know, working on it. Let me talk about this thing real quick. I know in the last video that I did about the R170, I was like, you know, the cab that's coming out of it is not the cab that's going back into it. and I've since changed my mind. First off, I think that, I don't know, I want this to be my beater binder, just like the chore horse, and it doesn't have to look great. And that rotten floor I can take out and put another one in. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep this cab, and it matches the truck. So got the hood in there and the grill. However, like I said, that 9-foot bed is going on this thing. I'm not getting the wrecker bed back on it. I'm getting the wrecker bed off of there. Next time I come up here to Wisconsin, my plan is to clean up the wrecker bed as much as I can, hit it with some linseed, see how much I can get that original paint, all the lettering and stuff to come out and really pop. So I think somebody is really gonna want that thing. Got the motor in. Yeah, I don't think I've made a video about that. I've got the motor in it, but I have to change the timing gear cover because it's a later motor mount. You know, I can't keep it all straight all the time. Previous owner of the truck added this strap that goes across for the rear cab mounts. I got to redo that. The transmission, I upgraded to, I had an overdrive transmission. The other one was a direct drive. So I've got the overdrive transmission, which has a parking brake on the back, which means more levers in the cab, which I'm always a fan of. Let's see, God, that's so cool. Too bad I don't want to be a tow truck driver. Another project that I haven't even talked about is this flatbed for the M5H6, the Bob Deuce. I got to cut this thing. I had milled some oak with a buddy of mine. I'll talk about that when I do the video about this truck. This should be happening in late June. So maybe in the first part of July, maybe on the 4th of July, I'll try to have this video out. But I'm gonna cut it off at 9 feet. There's already a seam where they added 4 more feet for a 13-foot flatbed. I don't need anything that long because proportionally looks ridiculous. So I just want a 9-foot bed on this thing. Something about a 9-foot bed, I guess. I don't know, but I've got all the oak for this thing. I just basically got to cut off the back of it, cap it, put the stuff in, and it's got to get connected to the frame. So big U-bolts. I was thinking maybe 2 big bolts with springs on them. The plan originally for this thing was to have a dump apparatus, which I do not have yet, but I'm sure I can track one down. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna strap it on there with U-bolts and Bob's your uncle. Probably take this front loop here out, that front stake pocket, and maybe weld on a proper front rack that I can bolt like a spare tire to and whatnot. But anyway, cool project. I've been having some problems with this thing just because apparently the ethanol resistant fuel pump was not, and so that went ahead and pooped the bed. So I've got to either rebuild that or just put an electric one on there. I usually like to have electric pumps on these because they can sit for a while and you can just turn on the key for a minute and you got gas to the car. And plus you can turn off, you can wire up a kill switch, which honestly out here I'm not really worried about theft. It's handy for theft prevention in the city, but also for trucks that sit a long time and you just run regular gas in them with ethanol in it, you can turn off the fuel pump and run the truck until it dies to clear out the carb so it doesn't have ethanol sitting in it. So that's really, really handy to have. All right, real quick about this Scout top. Our friend Nicole in Texas, if you're on any of the Facebook groups for internationals or if you follow any of us on Instagram, you know that our friend Nicole was in a terrible accident. She was on life support. She'd gone through surgeries, just a really life-altering thing. And she had bought this on Marketplace ahead of time up here in Wisconsin. So as long as I was up here, I went up and grabbed it for her. Now, I just want to take this minute to say that the community of international harvester enthusiasts in Austin, Texas is really, I would say, second to none. I have organized meets. There's a gal, Lydia, who's goes under the moniker of IH Scouts ATX, that has done countless meetups and all types of things to build the community up. We're all very focused on building the community, and one of our own, or I should say when one of our own has a situation, it's been amazing to see us all step up and do the most we can to help. Nicole needs our help right now, and so we've started a GoFundMe, and I put a link to the GoFundMe in my bio. I believe Nicole has been on the channel before, or she's helped me film stuff, and she's a gem. She's a little Miss Sunshine of our group, and she needs our help. So I would be remiss of me not to mention this GoFundMe right now, because we need all the help we can get to help her out. It's definitely going to be a situation where she's probably going to have to learn how to walk again. We weren't really sure she was going to make it the first day or so, but she's recovering well. I think a lot of it has to do with knowing that she has the support of not only her immediate family, but also her International Harvester family. And it goes beyond Austin. There's been people donating from all over the world, because she's had such a presence that, you know, everyone just wants to help. So if you want to help Nicole, she's on Instagram as IH Howler. She hasn't been on Instagram since the accident, but I'm sure she'll be back soon, or I hope she will. And if you want to donate, I put a link to the GoFundMe in my bio. We really appreciate it. There's also stickers that you can get, and so all the proceeds from these stickers go to help Nicole. So you can get a cool sticker. It's like a cartoon of Nicole and her dog and her scout. So you can't know Nicole without knowing Riley, her dog. So, and he's a good boy. So anyway, if you can help out, that's awesome. We really appreciate it. I had to mention it. We all love Nicole. So, and that's who this top is going to. Unfortunately, back to the reality of my situation right now in Wisconsin, I've been having some trailer trouble. So I am not bringing this top back to Austin today. I'm leaving for Texas here in a minute. And so next time I come up, I'll bring the car hauler and haul a bunch of junk home. And hopefully I can start getting the frame sorted out on that R170 so we can put this bed on it, because it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so cool. I think that's about it for this video. I think I filmed all the way up to me getting here to Wisconsin, and now I'm about to head back to Texas. I've been carrying this thing the whole time. My friend Natalie sent me this steering wheel out of an L170. It should fit the R170. It's a Scheller. So there's two different wheels that they put on these things. So hopefully this will fit the splines, and if not, we'll just beat it on there with a hammer. No, we'll figure it out. But thank you, Natalie. That's awesome. So yeah, stuff's going good. Another thing that I didn't mention, I guess, that I picked up on my big epic road trip was I picked up some pretty nice seats for an A or B series truck. So I actually have 2 complete seats here that need to be reupholstered, and then I've got a complete seat out of Mr. Neef's truck that needs to be reupholstered. But in the meantime, I can use this seat, because I want to use the original in Mr. Neef's, but in the meantime, once I get that truck firing around, if I don't have the seat reupholstered by then, I can just use this seat. And then there's a truck that has not made an appearance yet on this channel. Well, there's several, but there's one in Missouri that this seat will probably end up living in. I'm pretty excited about it. Might have something to do with this wrecker bed. Haven't worked out the deal yet, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you don't mind. And yeah, lots of International Harvester stuff coming your way soon. I apologize for the hiatus that my channel's been on for a minute, but we're getting back into it. So have a good one, be safe, and I'll see you soon.